They say marriage is built on trust. But I didn't realize mine was built on an illusion until it shattered in front of me. Looking back, maybe I should have seen the signs. The late nights, the secretive smiles at her phone, the sudden shift in the way she dressed. Tighter clothes, heavier makeup, lingerie I never got to see. But I was a fool, wrapped up in my own world, grinding away at work, believing my wife, Lily, was still the same woman I married 10 years ago. Lily and I had what most people would call a picture-perfect life. A solid suburban home just outside of Denver, 2 kids, both under 8, and the kind of financial stability that let us take vacations without checking our bank account first. I was in IT pulling in good money, while she worked part-time as a personal trainer. She loved fitness, always had. I liked that about her, her energy, her drive. What I didn't realize was that her gym sessions weren't just about lifting weights. That Thursday started like any other. I left the office early, eager to surprise Lily with a date night. I even grabbed her favorite sushi from that overpriced spot downtown. It had been months since we'd gone out, and I figured maybe a night away from the kids would help us reconnect. I didn't call ahead, I wanted it to be a surprise. When I pulled into the driveway, something felt off. The house was too quiet. Usually, at this hour, our kids were either fighting over the TV or running around screaming. But tonight, nothing. I stepped inside, setting the sushi on the kitchen counter. The place was spotless, no sign of the usual chaos. Then it hit me, the kids were at her mother's place for the weekend. She told me this, but I hadn't really thought much of it at the time. Then I heard it. A low hum, like music playing from upstairs. It wasn't loud, just enough to make my stomach twist. Something about it felt intimate. A slow, bass-heavy rhythm. The kind of music you don't play when you're alone. I moved toward the stairs, my heartbeat picking up. As I ascended, the sound became clearer. A moan, soft at first, then unmistakable. My chest tightened. My mind scrambled for explanations, but my body already knew the truth. I reached the bedroom door, gripping the handle. For a split second, I hesitated, clinging to the last bit of ignorance I had left. But then I pushed it open, and everything I thought I knew about my wife was obliterated. The door swung open, and for a moment, my brain refused to process what my eyes were seeing. Like some kind of mental failsafe, trying to protect me from the wreckage of my own life. But there was no protection from this. No way to sugarcoat what was happening in my own damn bedroom. Lily was on the bed, our bed, on all fours, her body tangled between 2 men. One was behind her, gripping her hips, moving with an arrogance that made my skin crawl. The other was in front of her, fingers tangled in her hair as she worked him with the kind of enthusiasm I hadn't seen from her in years. And the worst part? They were filming it. A camera sat on a tripod at the edge of the bed, its red recording light blinking, documenting every second of my wife's betrayal. The air felt thick, like the oxygen had been sucked out of the room. My fingers curled into fists at my sides. But I didn't move. I didn't make a sound. Maybe I was in shock. Maybe a part of me still hoped this was some kind of nightmare I'd wake up from. But then Lily noticed me. She didn't scream, didn't panic, didn't even look guilty. Instead, she just smirked. That little upturn of her lips sent something snapping inside me. I must have made a noise, maybe a sharp inhale, maybe something more primal, because the guy behind her finally turned his head. He was a younger dude, mid-20s, covered in tattoos with a cocky smirk that vanished the second he saw me. The other guy, older, built like a linebacker, just stared, like he was waiting to see how I'd react. But Lily? She sat up, wiped her mouth, and tilted her head like I was the one intruding on her space. "Babe," she said, like I just walked in on her watching TV. "You're home early." That's when I lost it. I don't remember crossing the room, but suddenly I was right in front of the bed, grabbing the first thing I could reach, the camera. I ripped it off the tripod and threw it against the wall. It smashed into pieces, the lens cracking as it hit the hardwood floor. Tattoo Boy scrambled off the bed, hands up like I was holding a gun. "Whoa, man, chill. Get the fuck out of my house." My voice didn't even sound like mine. It was deeper, darker, something feral. Linebacker guy moved first, grabbing his clothes from the floor. We didn't know she was married, man. Lily laughed. That cold, dismissive sound that made my skin crawl. Oh, please. They knew, she said, rolling her eyes as she stretched like this was just another day for her. They knew everything. That hit me like a gut punch. I turned to her, my hands shaking. You knew I'd find out. It wasn't a question. She shrugged, completely unfazed. It was bound to happen eventually. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't some drunken mistake. This was who she was, and I'd been too blind to see it. But what she said next, that's what truly broke me. This is my job, babe. It's always been my job. My mouth went dry. What the hell are you talking about? She just smiled. You really thought I was just a personal trainer? Then, as if this was the funniest thing in the world, she added, I'm a porn star, sweetheart. I stood there, heart pounding, fists clenched. The shattered pieces of my reality scattered across the floor along with the wreckage of that fucking camera. Lily sat on the edge of the bed, completely unbothered, stretching her arms like she just finished a goddamn yoga session instead of getting railed by two guys in our bed. I'm a porn star, sweetheart. The words hit me like a sledgehammer to the gut. My stomach twisted. My brain screamed at me to process it, but it just wouldn't compute. What the fuck did you just say? My voice was low, shaking, the kind of rage that sits in your chest like a ticking bomb. Lily sighed, like she was exhausted by my ignorance. I shoot professional content. Been doing it for almost 2 years now. She ran a hand through her hair, completely fucking casual, while the two assholes she'd just been with scrambled to gather their clothes. Babe, you had to know something was up. What did you think I was doing at all those fitness retreats? A sickening realization crept up my spine. All those weekends away. The sudden obsession with waxing everything. The lingerie that never made an appearance for me. She wasn't just cheating. She was broadcasting it. Selling it. Probably had an entire fucking fan base getting off to her taking dick behind my back. I clenched my jaw so hard I thought my teeth might crack. You're telling me you've been getting fucked on camera for years, and you never thought to tell your husband? She scoffed, rolling her eyes. Oh, please, let's not act like this is some big betrayal. It's just work. Pays better than any personal training gig, and guess what? It's my fucking body, my choice. I was seeing red. Tattoo boy, now fully clothed, cleared his throat. Dude, we're just gonna... Shut the fuck up. I snapped, not even looking at him. I'll deal with you two later. Lily smirked, standing up, completely fucking naked, completely fucking shameless. Oh babe, are you jealous? That set me off. I grabbed the closest thing I could, a lamp from the nightstand, and hurled it at the wall. It shattered on impact, shards of glass raining down across the hardwood floor. The two guys bolted like scared little bitches, half tripping over themselves as they scrambled out of the bedroom. But Lily, she didn't even flinch. Instead, she just sighed dramatically. You always were a little boring in bed. This is probably the most passion I've seen from you in years. I could have killed her right then and there. Instead, I turned and stormed out of the bedroom, my entire body shaking with rage. I needed air. I needed space. I needed to get the fuck away before I did something I'd regret. I made it halfway down the hall before she called after me. Oh, by the way, babe, she purred. Check my laptop if you want to see just how much fun I've been having. Fuck. I turned on my heel, marched straight back into the room, and grabbed her laptop off the dresser. She let me. She fucking smiled like this was some sick game. My hands trembled as I opened it. No password. Like she wanted me to see. I clicked the first file. And there she was. My wife. The mother of my fucking children. Naked. Moaning. Riding some other guy like she was made for it. And it wasn't just one video. There were hundreds. Hundreds. Careers worth of footage. Different men. Different locations. Different outfits. Hell, some of it was fucking live-streamed. My wife wasn't just a cheater. She was a goddamn porn star. And I was the last one to know. My hands shook as I scrolled through the files. Hundreds of videos. Hundreds of clips, all neatly categorized by date, by scene, by partners. Some of the file names made my stomach churn. First gangbang, 8 guys. Hotel hookup with a fan. Public fuck. Caught on camera. Wife breeds for the first time. No condom. Jesus fucking Christ. Every click was another dagger to the gut. I watched as my fucking wife, moaned, writhed, begged for more, taking cock after cock like she was made for it. And the worst part? She loved it. She was eager. She craved it. Not once did she hesitate. Not once did she look like a woman who felt guilty about betraying her husband. I wanted to throw the laptop through the fucking window, smash it into 1,000 pieces, burn it and pretend I never saw this shit. But I had to know. I opened the most recent video, the one with today's date. And there she was, Lily, my wife, naked, legs spread wide, in our bed, with the 2 guys I had just kicked out of my house. The camera was set up at the perfect angle, capturing everything. My wife was on her knees, between them, licking her lips as she took one in her mouth while the other grabbed her hips from behind. My husband's gonna be so mad if he ever finds out. She giggled, her voice dripping with lust. The guy behind her laughed. You think he'll ever figure it out? Maybe. She looked up at the camera, fucking winking. But honestly, I don't really care. He could never fuck me like this anyway. I slammed the laptop shut. My breathing was ragged. My vision blurred with pure, white-hot rage. And then I heard her behind me. So, what do you think? I turned slowly, barely able to hold myself back from wrapping my hands around her throat. Lily stood there, naked, arms crossed under her tits, looking proud, like she had just accomplished something, like she was waiting for praise. You're a fucking whore. My voice was so low, so full of venom, I barely recognized it. She smirked. Yeah. And? Are we really pretending you didn't love watching? My stomach flipped. The fuck did you just say? Lily rolled her eyes. You watched the whole thing, didn't you? You could have stopped any time. But you didn't. And I bet you're fucking hard right now, aren't you? God. Maybe you're more into this than I thought. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed the laptop and hurled it across the room. It smashed against the wall, the screen cracking, plastic shards flying everywhere. Lily barely flinched. You're disgusting, I spat. You lied to me. You made me a fucking joke. Oh, please, she scoffed. You were already a joke. Do you have any idea how many men have fucked me in this house? On that bed, on the kitchen counter, even on your fucking desk. My vision blurred. She stepped closer, lowering her voice to a whisper. You'll never leave me, she purred. Because deep down you love it. You love knowing that everyone else gets to have me while you sit here, helpless, watching from the sidelines. I clenched my fists so tight my nails dug into my palms. My whole body was shaking. But then I smiled. Because Lily had no fucking idea what was coming next. I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to ruin her. I didn't say a word. Didn't scream. Didn't throw another punch through the wall. Though every muscle in my body begged for violence. No, that's what she wanted. Lily stood there, still naked. Her smug little smirk curling at the edges like she had one. Like I was just going to break down, crawl into a corner, and accept my fate as the dumbass husband of a full-blown porn star. But what she didn't realize, I wasn't just angry, I was fucking calculating. She leaned against the dresser, her confidence dripping from every pore. You can't leave me, babe. Her voice was sweet, patronizing, like she was talking to a child. You can try, but let's be real. This house, these cars, our kids, they're all in my name. What are you gonna do, huh? Run to a lawyer? Fight me in court? She laughed. Please, I'll make sure you walk away with nothing. And that's when I knew. She wanted me to leave. Because if I walked away now, she'd win. She'd keep everything. Our house, our kids, our fucking life. While I was left in the dust, nothing but a cheated-on loser with a shattered ego. No. Fuck no. I smiled. A slow, cold grin that made her smirk falter for the first time. You think you're in control here? My voice was calm, dangerously so. You really think you've won? Lily's eyes narrowed slightly, but she didn't respond. Good. I walked past her, slow and deliberate, stepping over the broken pieces of her laptop. My heart was still hammering in my chest, my hands still shaking with the urge to destroy, but I had to be patient. This wasn't about reacting. This was about revenge. You know, I said, running my fingers along the edge of the dresser. I always wondered why you never pushed for a divorce. You could have left me any time. But you didn't. She rolled her eyes. Because I didn't have to. I had the best of both worlds. I chuckled. Nah, that's not it. I turned to her, meeting her gaze. It's because you know something I just realized. I stepped closer, close enough to see the first flicker of doubt in her expression. I don't need to leave. Her smirk twitched. I leaned in. You do. And just like that, she finally looked nervous. She tried to cover it up with another laugh, but it wasn't as sharp. Oh, please. You're bluffing. I smiled wider. Am I? She didn't know. She had no fucking clue what I was capable of. But she was about to find out. I walked past her and grabbed my phone, dialing a number I never thought I'd use. She frowned. Who the fuck are you calling? I locked eyes with her, my smirk mirroring hers now. The one person who's gonna help me burn your fucking world to the ground. Lily's smirk faded the second she heard the dial tone. For the first time, she wasn't in control. Good. She crossed her arms under her bare chest, shifting her weight like she was trying to regain her balance. Who the fuck are you calling? I didn't answer. I just watched her, let her stew in the uncertainty. One ring. Two. Then, yo, what's up, man? I could hear the TV in the background, the sound of a game on, but I didn't waste time with pleasantries. I need you to do something for me, right now. A pause. Damn, you sound pissed. Who we fucking up? Lily's brows furrowed. Her confidence cracked just slightly. Good. Not yet. Just listen. You still got that private investigator buddy? Silence for a second. Then, yeah. Why? I need everything. Phones, emails, finances. I want to know who she's been fucking, who's been paying her. Everything. Lily's mouth opened slightly. Now she was paying attention. Damn, bro. A low whistle on the other end. It's like that. It's worse. Lily laughed. A nervous, forced sound. Oh my God. You're actually serious? I ignored her. How soon can he start? Tonight. I'll text you the details. Do it. I hung up. Lily's smile was gone now. I watched her closely, waiting for the shift. The moment she realized she wasn't as untouchable as she thought she was. And then it happened. That little flicker of doubt in her eyes. The first real sign of worry. You're being dramatic, she scoffed. But it wasn't as sharp this time. A private investigator? For what? What the fuck are you even trying to prove? I smiled. Everything. And for the first time, she didn't have a response. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. You thought you could control me, humiliate me, walk all over me while I just sat here, clueless. But see, babe, you fucked up. She swallowed. I kept going. You didn't just cheat. You built a whole fucking career off of it. And you thought I'd just take it? That I'd just fucking leave and let you keep everything? Her jaw clenched. You thought wrong. She scoffed. And what? You think some PI is gonna magically make you win in court? I've covered my tracks. You won't find shit that'll help you. I let out a slow breath, shaking my head. You really don't get it, do you? I leaned in, just close enough to see the tiny pulse at her throat pick up speed. I don't need to take you to court, Lily. Her brows knit together. I just need to expose you. And that hit her. The first crack in the armor. Because this wasn't about lawyers. This wasn't about alimony or splitting assets. This was about her image. The life she'd built outside of the porn industry. The reputation she needed to keep some semblance of normalcy. Her family? Didn't know. Her friends? Didn't know. Our fucking kids? Didn't know. And once they did, she'd have nothing. The color drained from her face. I smiled, savoring it. This is just the beginning, babe. I turned to leave. You're about to find out what real fucking humiliation feels like. And for the first time all night, she had nothing to say. Lily didn't say a word as I walked out of the bedroom. Not a single smug comeback, no cocky little smirk. Just silence. And I fucking loved it. Because now, she was scared. I made my way downstairs, my pulse still hammering in my ears. My hands trembled with adrenaline, but I had to keep my head straight. This wasn't over. Not even close. I grabbed a beer from the fridge, twisted off the cap, and took a long, slow swig. My mind was racing through the possibilities. The ways I could tear her fucking life apart. She thought she was untouchable. That I'd be just another weak, humiliated husband who slunk away while she kept living her double life, fucking strangers for money and laughing at me behind my back. But Lily had miscalculated. Because I wasn't going to just leave. I was going to watch her burn. It started with the emails. I forwarded them to her mother first. A simple message. No context. Just proof. Screenshots of her online alias, links to her videos, transaction histories showing how much she was making off this shit. It took less than 10 minutes before my phone buzzed. Mom-in-law, what the fuck is this? Call me now. I didn't reply. Next, I sent them to the parent group chat for our kids' school. The same people Lily had been all buddy-buddy with for years. PTA moms, other dads, the fucking principal. It was brutal. I didn't even have to say anything. I just let the evidence speak for itself. Within minutes, the chat exploded. Stephanie R. Wait, is this real? Kalem, holy shit. She's been doing this the whole time? Principal Owens. This is extremely concerning. We will need to discuss the impact on her children. That last one? Perfect. Because that's exactly what I wanted. To make sure everyone knew that Lily wasn't just a cheating whore. She was a lying, manipulative piece of shit who had been hiding this life from everyone. It didn't take long for the real fallout to start. I was halfway through my beer when I heard it, her phone ringing upstairs. Then again. Then again. She came stomping down the stairs, wearing nothing but a robe, her face pale as fuck. What the fuck did you do? I leaned against the counter, smirking. Me? Oh babe, I just shared the good news. You know, let everyone see what an independent, hard-working woman you are. She looked like she wanted to kill me. You son of a... Her phone rang again. She hesitated, eyes darting down to the screen. I took another sip of my beer. That your mom? Or maybe one of your little PDA friends? Her hands were shaking as she picked up. Mom! I could hear the screaming through the phone. Even from across the kitchen. Lily flinched, squeezing her eyes shut as her mother ripped into her. Pure rage pouring through the speaker. You are a disgrace. I just saw Lily, how could you? The whole family. Do you understand what you've done? I smiled into my beer. Lily's jaw clenched. Mom. Please, let me expla. Click. She stared at her phone, stunned. Then suddenly, bam. She hurled it at the wall. The screen shattered, shards flying across the floor. I laughed. I fucking laughed. Because now she understood. This wasn't some little game where she got to fuck around and get away with it. I was taking everything. And I was just getting started. Lily stood there, chest rising and falling, hands clenched into fists. Her phone lay in pieces on the floor, just like her perfect little double life. I let the silence stretch, let her feel it, the weight of everything crashing down. You fucking bastard. Her voice was low, shaky, full of rage and something else. Fear. I smirked. Bastard? Babe. I'm just getting started. Her eyes flashed, but she was off balance now. Good. She stormed past me, heading straight for the laptop in the living room, yanking it open. I already knew what she was doing, damage control, trying to shut everything down before more people saw. Too fucking late. I had already downloaded everything. Every video, every message, every transaction. I let her panic for a few seconds, watched as she typed furiously, clicking through her accounts, her OnlyFans, her email, her business contacts. Then she froze, her face drained of color. What the fuck? She whispered. She tried again, logged out then back in. Same result. What did you do? She screamed, whipping around. I grinned. Took the liberty of locking you out, babe. Changed all your passwords. Froze your accounts. Oh, and that bank account you were using to hide all your earnings? Yeah. I transferred everything out this morning. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. She looked like she might vomit. You can't fucking do this. Her voice cracked. That's my money. I shrugged. Yeah, well, it was in a joint account. So technically it's our money. And since, you've been fucking other men for it, I think I deserve compensation, don't you? She lunged at me, fingernails bared, eyes wild, completely losing her shit. I caught her wrists mid-air, twisted them just enough to make her gasp. Careful, sweetheart, I murmured. Wouldn't want to add assault to your list of problems, now would we? She ripped herself away from me, breathing hard. Her world was collapsing. Her money, gone. Her reputation, destroyed. Her control over me, fucking dead and buried. And the best part? She still had no clue what was coming next. She stumbled back toward the couch, gripping her hair like she was trying to physically hold herself together. You ruined my life, she whispered. I laughed.
No, Lily.
You ruined your own life. I just let everyone see it. She looked up at me, something new in her expression now. Not just anger, desperation. Please. Her voice broke. The kids, my job, my family. Should have thought of that before you started taking dicks on camera. Huh? She flinched like I'd slapped her. Good. I grabbed my keys, headed for the door. Pack your shit. She swallowed hard. Where am I supposed to go? I smirked, opening the door. Not my fucking problem. And then I left, slamming the door behind me. But this wasn't over. Not even close. Because Lily might have lost everything. But there was still one last thing I needed to take from her. And that was revenge. I drove aimlessly for a while, gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My heart was still pounding, my body thrumming with adrenaline. But the rage, the pure fucking satisfaction of watching Lily break, that stayed with me. She thought she had power, thought she was untouchable. Not anymore. I parked outside a quiet coffee shop and checked my phone. The damage was already spreading like wildfire. Social media was lit the fuck up. Her OnlyFans? Gone. Her porn accounts? Deleted. Her secret stash of cash? Transferred. And the best part? The school had already made a statement. Effective immediately, Lily is no longer affiliated with our institution. Damn, that was fast. I smirked, scrolling through the messages still pouring into the PDA chat. Stephanie R. I can't believe she was around our kids. Kyle M. Dude, her videos are everywhere. It's fucking disgusting. Principal Owens. We will be reviewing this matter closely regarding the well-being of her children. That last one? That was exactly what I was waiting for. I dialed my lawyer. Mr. Carter? He answered smoothly. I assume this is about your wife? Ex-wife, I corrected. And I want full custody. A pause. Then a slow exhale. Given the circumstances, I don't think that'll be an issue. Fucking perfect. I hung up and leaned back, letting it sink in. Lily was done. No job. No money. No home. And now, no kids. She would lose everything. And all I had to do now was watch her drown. When I got back to the house, I found her sitting on the couch, staring blankly at the wall. Her bags were packed. Her makeup was smeared. She looked hollow. Did you really take the kids from me? Her voice was barely a whisper. I shrugged. Did you really think any judge would let a full-time porn star have custody? She flinched. But, save it, Lily. It's done. She swallowed, her lip trembling. For a second, just a second, I almost felt something. Pity? Regret? No. She did this to herself. Where am I supposed to go? She murmured. I smirked. Not my fucking problem. She stared at me, eyes glossy, face pale. She knew this was it. She had lost. And I had fucking won. I opened the door. Time to go, sweetheart. She didn't argue. Didn't fight. She just stood, grabbed her bags, and walked past me, shoulders slumped. She paused at the doorway, as if waiting for me to say something. But I didn't. She stepped outside, and I slammed the door shut. For good. The house was silent. For the first time in years, there was no tension thick in the air. No lingering doubt gnawing at the back of my mind. No fucking lies. Just peace. I stood there, staring at the door for a long time, listening to nothing but the steady rhythm of my own breathing. My fingers curled and uncurled at my sides, the last remnants of adrenaline still buzzing under my skin. She was gone. I fucking did it. I walked through the house slowly, taking in everything. The couch where she used to curl up and pretend to be the perfect wife. The kitchen where she kissed me before sending me off to work, probably hours after fucking someone else. The bedroom, our bed. I stepped inside and looked around. The sheets had already been stripped, the mattress bare. That was fine. I had no intention of sleeping on it again. That bed wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to her career. The closet was emptier now, just my stuff left hanging. Her drawers were cleaned out, her perfume no longer lingering in the air. And yet, the ghost of her still clung to this place. But not for long. The next morning, I listed the house for sale. I wasn't going to stay in a place filled with her. By the afternoon, I had scheduled movers. I packed only what I needed, the kids' stuff, my essentials, my documents. Everything else? Gone. I donated the rest. By the end of the week, I had filed for full custody. With the evidence, the school's reaction, and Lily's entire career history on public display, the judge barely needed convincing. She didn't even show up to fight it. She knew she had lost. And as for the money, the courts would have to drag it out, but I didn't care. I had already drained her secret accounts, and her little OnlyFans empire was dead in the water. She had nothing. No job. No home. No kids. And me? I walked away free. 3 months later, I ran into her. Not on purpose. I was grabbing coffee, standing in line when I felt it, that familiar feeling of being watched. I turned. And there she was. She looked bad. Gone. Tired. Cheap clothes. Cheap makeup. Her once flawless hair now dull and lifeless. She wasn't Lily anymore. Not the version of her I knew. She was just a ghost. I met her eyes. And for the first time, she looked ashamed. She opened her mouth, like she wanted to say something. Maybe apologize. Maybe beg. Maybe explain. But I didn't let her. I smirked. And then I turned around and walked away. Because Lily, she wasn't worth another fucking second of my time.